welcome back to my channel. Disclaimer, if any of you are Cameroonian and you're about to be triggered, or you don't like the title, or you want to come and defend your people, I'm sorry but not sorry. So if you know you're gonna be triggered, just exit. Okay, I'm gonna be talking about my experience, my personal experiences, many of them being a businesswoman in Cameroon, owning multiple businesses and hiring hundreds of people at this point in time, whether it's technicians, construction, whether it's whenever I'm renovating a space, whether it's the school, because I have teachers, I have office staff, and I have a consulting firm. At some point I hired people and stuff like that. I have a boutique, I have a manager, I have marketing people that I had hired, all of these things. So as I'm telling you guys my experience, I know many of you are going to take it personally, but this is my experiences and I'm going to share it here. First thing that I want to say, I feel like being honest is a crime in Cameroon. And let me land before you guys come to me like, girl, what you talking about? Let me go ahead and land. Being honest is a crime in Cameroon because everybody is dishonest. And when I say everybody, I'm not meaning the people that I've never encountered in my life. I'm talking about many of the people, not all, but many of the people that I've worked with, people that have hired, contracted with, and so forth. People are dishonest. Let me go ahead and start with something that happened yesterday with my brothers, and then I would guys, my list is so long. Yesterday, by the way, I got a bill for 3.4 million, and I made a vlog about it. Maybe you guys already watched the vlog, but I'm gonna go ahead and explain everything to you. So yesterday, as I was dealing with my own wahala, the bills popping left and right. At the same time, both of my brothers, had an incident at the gas station. So they went to the gas station, they had a pickup truck, and they wanted to put gas. So the gas that they wanted to put, in French we say gazoil, which is diesel, and then essence is what? Super. Essence is super. It's either you say essence or you say super in French. So basically, my brothers went to the gas station. They wanted to fill up the pickup truck. They told the guy who was filling up the pickup truck, because in Cameroon, there's somebody who's actually holding the thing, and then he's filling up the gas, right? They told him, we want diesel, which is gazoil in French. So we want that for how much money they said. The guy who was filling up the tank put the wrong fuel, right? He put the wrong one. And so my brother didn't even pay attention. They just drove off, and then in the middle of the street, they stopped. The car stopped. So they called the mechanic guy, one of the mechanic guy that our family usually use, the guy who's always helping us whenever we have car issues. So they called the guy, and then the guy was like, he looked everywhere. And basically the guy was like, there's nothing wrong with the car. The only thing was that you guys put the wrong fuel. So they went back to the gas station and confronted the guy who actually poured the gas in the pickup truck. First of all, the guy said, this is not me. You guys never met me. I've never met you. You're not talking about me. It wasn't me. So the fight started right there. And keep in mind that they were supposed, like in the morning, because my little brother is a civil engineer, and my older brother is also investing. He's building here in Cameroon. So they were supposed to go to the construction site. So at this point, the tank has to be cleaned. The filters have to be changed. They have to do an oil change. And technically, if you already drove the car, it means that the gas went through the system, right? So you're supposed to remove some parts and pieces of the car, blah blah blah. Guys, I'm not a mechanic person, but I have an idea. For people who have been through the process of putting the wrong type of gas, it's gonna mess up your car basically. So my brother spent the entire day at the gas station arguing back and forth before the manager came. Manager understood what was happening. She apologized, and she basically said, this is what we're going to do for you. We're going to do an oil change. We're going to change the filters, and we're going to put back the amount, the gas, the right type of gas. So if the amount was probably 30,000 francs CFA worth of gas, of gasoil, of diesel gas, she said, we're gonna put that back in your pickup truck, so that's exactly what happened. But they didn't take the car into, the car apart. They didn't remove some of the pieces so that they can really clean the inside of the pickup truck. Long story short, this morning, my brothers, my parents, they wanted to go to the village, and they wanted to use that pickup truck, and guess what? The pickup truck is not moving. So basically, the gas station is not going to fix the car, even though it doesn't run. Like, whatever they did yesterday was actually the bare minimum they could have done. But the car, like the battery is done, it's dead, right? And it has to be replaced. That's already $50,000. So my brother called the mechanic guy today, and then they're fixing the car. And those expenses are going to be from my brother's pocket, which is ridiculous. And that's just the level of lack of accountability that many of the businesses in Cameroon here have. Now, let's talk about my numerous experiences dealing with technicians, dealing with people in construction. I've had this conversation with my dad back and forth, because my dad too is a civil engineer, even though he retired. But he's worked with, I mean, he's built almost everything, okay? Almost everything in Cameroon, outside of Cameroon. So he knows the ups and downs, and he can tell how things, have evolved, and now people don't even want to work. You will find people doing the bike, the bensikin, they're doing the taxi bike just because they don't want to do the type of technician type of job, because for them it's too much effort, basically. So now when you hire somebody, let's say you're building something, and then you hire somebody, a builder or a tiler, somebody to put tiles on the floor, or a painter, those people will come and you would give them, because you have to pay them part of the money, because the way it works here is that you don't pay the full amount. So if the contract say 100,000, you're not going to pay them 100,000, right? You're going to estimate about how much to pay them, because you have to give them money for materials, because they have to buy the paint, they have to buy this and that. And unless you want to do hands-on, because I've been super duper hands-on, because I've went through the whole process of trusting the technician and saying, you know what, how much is the material going to cost? I'm going to give you 100,000 to buy all the materials. And guess what? You give them the money, they disappeared. They just vanished. They vanished from the earth. And in Cameroon, there's no system. It's not like you take somebody's social security number, or you know exactly where the person lives. People live everywhere, They can be living at the parents' house, just like they can be living at the cousin's house, just like they can be living in a different city, and you will never know. So the way it's really difficult to track down somebody, even though the person stole your money. It's difficult. It happened to me back in 2018 at the school. Back to school, I had hired this carpenter. He was supposed to build desk for the kids, right? For the students desk. And I gave him 100. I remember I gave him 150,000 up front, because he was supposed to build a lot of desks, and I think the contract was like maybe like 450,000 or almost 500,000, like almost $500,000. So I gave him that contract, and I gave him in advance 150,000, because they do have to buy materials and things like that, the wood, and then nails, all of these things. The guy never built nothing. So we're 2 weeks out from him delivering the desk, right? The guy is like, he keeps on making an excuse. Ma'am, I'm gonna bring it, I'm finishing, I'm doing some finishes here and there. I'm like, just bring whatever you got. Because at this point, right, I had given him 150, and I have wired, I didn't even say this, I had wired him I did the mobile money, another 50,000, because according to him, the money wasn't enough. And then I was like, just do the quantity that you can do. You deliver those ones, and then whenever you're done with that, I'm gonna give you more funds so that you can continue. That was the deal. Because the mistake that you don't want to do is to give them the full money up front. Oh, you're gonna be in a mess. They will just run away and vanish. So basically 2 weeks out, the guy keeps on making an excuse. 1 week out from school starting, he doesn't pick up the phone. So I had to hire somebody else, another carpenter, spend the same amount of money in terms of like the contract. So the 450,000, I had to give that to somebody else, but I had already lost 150,000. And I remember one of my cousins, he's like from the street, basically. The cousin was like, you know what, girl, we're gonna find the guy who stole your money. I think it was like 3-4 months later, we found him and we put him in jail. And then his wife begged to release the husband, and we asked the wife or the family, in order to release the husband, you guys have to give us at least something. And I think they had given us like 75,000, like half of the 150,000 that he took. And they were supposed to, even the people at the station, the police officers, whatever, we had agreed that he's gonna give us the money in different installments. Like we give up 50,000 a month, because the guy wasn't earning much. Long story short, we never saw the guy ever again. The guy just vanished from the earth. So that's what you get when you trust people. Now, let me tell you something that happened to me back in 2021 when I bought my car. I think it was 2021, right? I don't know. Anyway, you guys know I'm driving a white Hyundai. That's the second car that I've been driving since I moved back to Cameroon, like permanently. Because you guys know in the beginning I was driving an SUV, a Mercedes, a black Mercedes car. And then it had so many issues. I fixed it to the best abilities. It just did not want to. I had to buy another car because it's so expensive for you to buy parts and things like that. So I ended up buying a white Hyundai, and I bought the white Hyundai from a dear friend of mine who is doing the transport, the export, import, business, right? So bought the car from him because he bought the car from the US. And my car came to Cameroon. So before I could get my car, he wanted his people, his mechanic guys, to inspect my car. Guys, this is a story that I've never shared here, even though I shared to you guys that I bought the car was good, everything was good, because this is my friend, right? I didn't want to put him, I didn't want people to misunderstand what happened, and I really didn't have the wording nor the energy to even say exactly what happened. So basically, he trusted the people that he was working with, right? Because whenever he gets a new car in Cameroon, he does an inspection just to make sure the car works properly before he can release the car. And he gave the car to his people to inspect. The people stole, they call it catalyzer. If I find the English term, I'll put it on the screen. They stole it. They stole additional things. We're going to it. That's why these people are billing me 3 million, okay? I just find out 2 years later. Whew. Anyway, so when I got the car, right, like I just bought this car, it's white. I even redid the paint, I redid the interior of the car. I have a full video about that. Redid the interior of the car. I started driving the car. The first week, I noticed that the car would just slow down and then it would stop. It would do it, like it wouldn't do it every day, but once in a while. By the second week, it was doing it almost every single day I was out. I called my friend, I was like, dude, something is wrong with this car. And the guy didn't want to believe it because he actually took time to make sure the car was fully inspected and everything was working properly before he released the car to me. And keep in mind that he's a businessman, so he goes to different countries. He wasn't even in Cameroon at that time. So we've had so many arguments at this point, right? Because I'm angry. I just spent this amount of money, because guys, I spent the money that he asked me for, which was a lot of millions. Then I spent money to customize the car. So I was already pissed. And I spent money to do the papers, because you also have to do the papers. I was already pissed because I'm like, I didn't buy a car to drive it 2 weeks and start having issues. This doesn't make sense to me. And I had to wait for the car for months for the car to come to Cameroon. So we went back and forth, and then finally he came to Cameroon because he thought I was the one overreacting. I was the one, having this thing. The car was fine. When he was in Cameroon, he drove it. It was fine. He didn't know that when he turned his back, his people stole some, parts and pieces of the car. So he comes to Cameroon, inspect the car with his people, find out that they stole the catalyzer, the pump. So anyway, so the guy buys all of these things brand new from the US, shipped it to Cameroon so that that he can replace it into my car. Because at this point I was like, dude, it's either you giving me my money back or you fixing the car so that I don't even hear a sound, because I was just angry. And I think everybody in my shoes would have been angry because you waited for a car for months, you spend so much money for it, and then you drive the car 2 weeks, the car just stops randomly. So anyway, long story short, he confronted the mechanic guys he was working with, because he had a team he was working with on the regular. And then he found out not only they had stolen some pieces of my car, some parts of my car, but they also stole from another. So he sold the car to somebody else, and that person also complained that some of the parts were not there, were removed. And the mechanic guy he was working with was his buddy. Like the person that, like, this is your BFF. This is the person that when you come to Cameroon, he's like, dude, let me hold your purse. This is the person that tells you, don't trust this person because he's not good. That was the person that was stealing from him. So now let me talk about the 3.4 million that I was billed yesterday, and I'm going to put it on the screen. Guys, so I went to the mechanic shop, right? I went to Kia, the car dealership, because at this point I don't trust the mom and pop mechanic shop, like the one in the quartier, the one, you know, I was so scared, because it didn't only just happen to me, it also happened to my dad, happened to my brother. Like, it happened to so many people that I know, where your car is good, maybe there's something that is not working properly, you take it to the mechanic shop, they fix the thing, but they stole another part, and then they replace it with something that is older and used, that's going to break in a couple of days or couple of weeks, right? And it happened to so many people that I'm scared to take my car to a mechanic shop. Even when I do the oil change, guys, I go to do the oil change at Total, I sit there in front, like sometimes they're like, ma'am, you can sit inside, there's AC. I'm like, no, I'm gonna sit here. Like, I want to see my car, I want to see the person working on my car, doing the oil change, changing the filters. Like, I want to see it, because the ridiculous thing is that people just steal. Like, they're not even honest. You give them the money to fix an issue, and they still steal from you, because they expect that if your car breaks down, you're still gonna come back to them. But so yesterday I went to Kia's house, the car dealership in Bonanjo, and I had them assess the car, because I wanted them to tell me exactly what was wrong with the car. So he basically told me there's a part, we call that la differential. He basically told me that the whole system was stolen, and only the cadran, that box, was still there, but it was old, it was already used. And that what else did he say? Like, the propeller shaft was still there, but then the differential was gone. And I'm like, how come it's gone? Nobody touched my car, except when I bought the car, and then I had some issues with the person who was inspecting it and stole some parts. But nobody ever, like, I've never taken my car to a regular, you know, like, no, I just do maintenance. Like, people do oil change, I check if there's oil, like, that's it. And he told me, ma'am, look at what's going on. And I can see the wires. I wish I had taken a picture of, you know, underneath the car, or a video, so that I can show it to you guys. But I can see how they actually took some wire and they fixed it up just so the thing could not fall, like, you know, just so it could be held up. So my brain is thinking to myself, did I buy the car like that? No. Did I even know? Because like, do you guys actually buy the car and then you go underneath the car to see if everything is there? How would you even know? Unless you're a mechanic guy, how would you know? And the only way this piece could have been stolen is if somebody actually stole it when I bought the car, which I told you guys, my friend's mechanic guy. And that thing alone, the differential, costs 1 million, and this is second hand. So those are some of the examples. Like I said, I was given a bill of 3.4 million. And of course, I know that some of these places, they just overpriced things just because of the location where they're at, the type of people that go there and so forth. Am I going to fix my car there? No, I'm going to fix it somewhere else. I just wanted to know what was the issue. But I just need to find, I mean, my dad kind of hooked me up with somebody apparently that has a trustworthy. I feel like in Cameroon you cannot trust people. Everybody. Now let me talk about another sensitive topic. I have a school. I own a school, okay? Let me say this thing, which is not gonna be, it's gonna be an unpopular opinion. Let me talk about inspection, whether it's from the level of hiring people and people, the way they lie on the CV, the way they make fake certificates, teacher certificate, as in I graduated, I'm officially a teacher. A lie. Some of these teachers don't even know how to do basic math. Like, I remember during the interview, at some point when I noticed that many of the teachers that were interviewing and that were hiring were not competent, they were not skilled. The following year, we put a system in place in which we're gonna hire you, but you have to do this test just so we can see your levels, okay? So I remember I had written, the test is simple, okay? It's not gonna be difficult college level type of math test, English test, or French test. No, it's simple, it's basic. It's like class 6 type of level, okay? So I remember giving the test to one of the teachers that I wanted to hire, and I basically said, you know, it was a couple of pages. We have the French one, the English one, and I said, can you solve those math equations? I mean, those are primary, the elementary school. We're talking about elementary level, primary level. We're not talking about college. We're not talking about, you know, like, no, primary school. And I remember we had, one of the question was like, can you write down in numbers, right? 1,590,000. 1,590,000. And we have written that in letters, right? Like ONE1, MILLION, 1 million, and blah blah blah, 590,000. And we were like, can you write that in numbers? You just have to do 1, 5, 9, 0, and 000, which is 1,590,000. Can you believe that the teacher that I was about to hire didn't know how to do that? She did not know how to take the letter, you know, like how you write. She just didn't know. She didn't know how to write 1,590,000 in numeric form. And I was like, if you don't know, how are you gonna teach the kids? Anyway, I'm not even, and I hate to complain. You guys know how I love Africa, I love Cameroon, but I just hate to complain. But those are some of the realities. Those are some of the things that you encountered. People are just dishonest. From the CV, oh my God, let me not even touch on inspection, because whenever inspection, state inspector at the educational level, when they come to school, you have to pay for the transport. Even though there's nothing, they don't have to have a reason. They just show up. You have to give them something for transport. You don't give them something for transport, you're in trouble. Oh my God. Anyway, I'm not even going to go into that business of talking about that, because I know we're not going to do that. But anyway, there are so many things that I can talk to you guys about, like whether you send somebody to the market and you tell the person, can you please buy me some oranges or something, and then, you know, give me back the money. The person get there, he buys you 2 oranges, for example, and he tells you that's 500. You're like, since when is it 500? Just because the person think you're coming from abroad, or maybe you sound different, so it means that you don't know the prices in the marketplaces. Guys, that's why when you guys see me going to stores, buying towels, buying materials, buying foods, buying this, because I've learned that in Cameroon you have to be hands-on. If you think you're going to trust people and do this, like I had to be hands-on first before I can now delegate and say, you know what, go and get me this. And I've had people who tried. They tried and they realized that I wasn't one of those people. Like, I know the prices. I know exactly how much this one costs. I know that if you buy materials from these places, it's going to cost about this much and this much. And I can always drive there and find out. So you're not going to play that game with me. But it doesn't remove the fact that there are some things that I'm still clueless, because I can't know everything, right? And sometimes it's even your people, as in your relatives. That's going to be another story for another day. I just wanted to make this heartfelt video, because yesterday was the 3 million. It was my brothers dealing with the, you know, the messed up guys in the tank, and it's just too much. It's just too much. It's like you wake up in the morning feeling good, feeling happy, and then by 1 o'clock, you know, your day just goes south. That's Cameroon for you. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'm getting really hot here now, so I'm gonna talk to you guys in the next vlog. Don't know what it's gonna be about, but I'm sure it's gonna be a little bit exciting if you guys find it exciting. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next vlog. Love you.